we'll click here to start. And we're going to do the detailed version shuffled. From each according to his ability to each according to his needs. I have no idea what that means. I know it's a quote. Social studies and that kind of stuff, not my forte, by the way. So yeah, as I said, I know that this is a quote. But I don't actually know what it means or what it's from. I have a feeling what it implies is each person gives what they can, and each person gets what they need. So, I think that sounds pretty good. Paying workers with food is preferable than paying with money. Absolutely not. Absolutely disagree with that. Money can be used for anything. Food can be used for just one thing, eating. You might be able to give away your food or sell it for money, but why would I accept pay as food when I could just buy whatever food that I want, not whatever food they give me? But also, I feel like it's just a way of fucking over the worker. Like, why would the employer get to decide what I would spend my money on? If I wanted to spend it on crack, I could. Oppression by corporations is a huge concern. Strongly agree. Corporations suck. My nation should be more diverse. Yeah. Diversity is good. Traditional medicines are often more effective than modern medicines. Hard disagree. The stuff that we keep is modern medicine. Like, if it didn't work, why would we keep doing it? If it did work, it would just become part of medicine. Is that not how it works? Like, do you think there's like a secret cure for cancer that they're just like, well, we got it, but it's a traditional method. We don't want to actually cure it. I think modern medicine's better. Cultures should learn from each other to make progress easier and quicker. Of course. Why wouldn't? That's part of diversity, is it not? It's a good thing that nationalism is on the rise. Hard disagree. I do not like nationalism. Is there one, or if they would have said movement, it would have made a lot more sense. Is there an organization? Like, there is, right? There's a singular one. I don't know anything about them. I'm gonna read this though as though it says movement, or as though it says like in general and not like a specific one. Taxation for the rich should be lowered or even abolished. Yeah, right. Fuck that. They should pay their fair share. Disagree. Police was not made to protect the people, but to uphold the status quo by force. Agreed. Allie doesn't like it when I say ACAB, but they are. Jury nullification should be legal. I don't know what that means. Occurs when members of a criminal trial jury believe that a defendant is guilty, but choose to acquit the defendant anyway because the jurors consider the law itself unjust, or that the law was misapplied. Hell yeah, I agree with that. That is what... Is that not being judged by a group of your peers? And like, if the law wasn't good, then it shouldn't be upheld? I agree. The current political system in my nation is flawed. I agree with that. Strongly. My nation is great. I am neutral about that. I mean, in what way? You need, if you said in every way my nation is the greatest, I would be very much disagree, but like in general, like in specific sectors, sure. So I'll just be neutral. Multiculturalism is unrealistic. I disagree. I don't have any reason for disagreeing. As we know, I think diversity good. So, a person cannot be moral without a religion or belief. I disagree. I don't believe in any religions. Do I believe in anything? I don't know. But I disagree. I don't think you need religion to be moral. Moral meaning like, I don't know, not causing as much harm as you can. Economy inequality is still a very economic inequality. Yes, that is a very serious problem. Now, don't ask me to explain most of these answers, like, in depth, okay? My understanding of all of this is, like, maybe middle school levels at best. At best. We should embrace modern technology rather than avoiding it. Hell yeah! Internet! And video games! And Twitch! And stuff. Also, like, yeah, technology has let us keep talking to a lot of people, and even through a pandemic, you can video call people and stuff like that. Like, the means of production should belong to the workers. Yes, hard agree. Hard agree. All reforms should happen without violence. Yeah, it ideally. I mean, we're saying should, we're not saying could or will. If we're making a statement of, like, idea in the perfect world, should, sure. It's important that we maintain our culture and tradition. Who is we, first of all? But I think things can change. I don't think it has to be enforced. Which is the way I'm reading this. Maintain to me sounds like we force everyone to be this way. You have to follow our tradition and stuff. I don't like that. You can make your own traditions. We do. We eat crabs on New Year's. Genetic modification of humans is beneficial. Is or could be? Those are different things. I'm gonna say could be. I don't see any reason why it couldn't be beneficial. Also, you know what? If we're just gonna go full, like, yeah, fucking mod me, man. Yeah, I'll agree. Give me that tentacle that I desire. I can do that through genetic modification, right? I can get a tentacle. If wages exist at all, the minimum wage should be lowered or stagnated or even abolished. No, I very much disagree. I am of the opinion that if you need human labor to do something, you should pay for that. If you have to have a human working for you, they should be able to earn a living doing that thing. I don't care if you are sticking fries into a oil or if you are, I don't know, programming. They both deserve to be paid for their labor as a human being. Being self-sufficient as a person is a positive trait. I would say I agree with this, but then I'm reading it as if you're not self-sufficient, that's a negative trait, like you're not a good person? Only partially agree, I guess. If the current career system is being used, a person's personal and work life should stay separate. Yes. Yes. I don't think that a work should have any say in your personal life. I'm gonna assume. Like those companies that are like, you can't smoke if you work here, you can't smoke in your off time or stuff like that. Like, I don't agree with that. Smoking is bad, but I don't agree that, like, but then it's, no, the company, on one hand, I'm like, well, the company has the right to associate with you or not. But on the other hand, you're doing something on your off, like, they don't own everything that you do. So I am not sure how to reason that out, but I feel more strongly that the company should not be able to tell you what to do in your off time. They can't say, you can't go to the BLM protests because you work here, you know? Like, that's how it feels to me for them to say, you can't drink on the weekends if you work here. Now, maybe if it was a certain profession, like, all right, you can't drink on the weekends because you're a doctor on call and we need our surgeons not to be drunken when we call them. Or you work at a AA place or so, you know, maybe there's exceptions, but for the most part, we're gonna go with the group. Getting past physical limitations through technology would be beneficial to mankind. Yes. Why wouldn't it be? Is there somebody who, like, disagrees with this? A free economy is the best tool for establishing wages and the price of labor. I disagree. Think. I think I disagree because I don't think that companies distribute wages fairly. I'm gonna you know what? I'm gonna strongly I feel that strongly. I don't have strong opinions about anything, okay? This is the strongest you've ever seen me have an opinion. Governmental social programs should be replaced with private charities and organizations. Hard disagree. I don't think that, again, organizations, companies, I don't think are to be trusted. Not saying that governments are to be, but like I don't trust private charities and organizations to do the right thing. It's important that we put aside our differences and cooperate as a single community. Sure. Why not? Why wouldn't we? Why would cooperation be bad? I agree. Everyone deserves a second chance. Ooh, this is one of my more spicier opinions. Yes, I think that everyone can change. I am a firm believer that people can change. Yes, including somebody who like murdered 1 billion people. Like, if you make an exception, I feel like there's always going to be another exception. I'm not the same person that I was 20 years ago when I was whatever age I was at 20, my current age minus 20, and I'm sure I did some things that like suck. Technology is negatively affecting modern society. I disagree. Some technology is. This is another one, like facial recognition technology. That's pretty bad. But other internet technology, video tech, like all that kind of stuff, I think that's good. So I'm gonna have to disagree. I'm gonna disagree, even though most of the, like, some of it is good, some of it is bad. I'm gonna disagree that it's all bad. I mean, this is the argument of, like, I was on the train and nobody was talking to each other. They were all just looking at their phones. Which, you go back 30 years, they were all just reading a newspaper. Like, nobody on the train wants to talk to you. Everyone wants to be on their own. Maybe in some cultures and countries they do talk to each other, but every time I've been on like on a train or anything, no one was talking to each other, unless you were with a friend or something. But people mind their own business. I don't think technology made them mind their own business. I think most people just wanted to mind their own business. I'm gonna say disagree. It's rude to talk. Exactly. People would be like, why are you talking to me? Like, if you just went up to random strangers, like on the bus or train or whatever, in public, where you don't usually interact, like, I'm not talking about like at a bar or something where you go and you talk to strangers, but like in a place where you're not necessarily expected to talk to strangers, people will be like, why are you talking to me? They might not say it, but they're not going to treat you the same way as like if they were in the situation where they were expecting to be talked to. Automation is very beneficial. I agree. Automate everything. Let everyone sit on their asses. I do not see the issue with that. As long as you're feeding them, obviously. Like, if you were letting everyone starve in the streets, that would be bad. But like, oh, we have all of our trucks driving, and now we don't have any road accident deaths. Or reduced it by 99%. Yeah! That sounds amazing! Like, I don't trust those psychos on the road. Now, apparently, that is a outlandish take for some people, but I think it's a way forward. A way to... I don't believe that the purpose of life is to work until you die. Like, work is a means to an end, not, like, something I enjoy. If you could automate everything and, okay, now I only have to work 1/10 of the amount of time for the same output, fuck yeah. If I don't have to work at all, maybe I am worse off, but the next generation is obviously not going to get into that career. Me as a person might be worse off if I was like a truck driver and all the trucks are automated now. But now the next person doesn't have to become a truck driver and they can do whatever, they actually want to do. If they wanted to be a truck driver, well, sucks to be them. Maybe there's some market for that, but Roads and transportation should be publicly owned. Why would I want somebody to own, like, the roads and then the means of using those roads? Yeah, like, alright, well, we own everything, you can't go anywhere. I think that they should be public. Freedom of movement and all that. Politics should be avoided in daily life. Like, what's an example of something that, like, is political that you could avoid? Isn't just, like, having laws and following them political? Does that count? You took it to mean not talking about politics with others? I disagree. If there was a huge injustice and you were a second-class citizen, to you, everything is political. You know what I mean? Versus, if you are the majority, nothing seems political, even though it actually is. The justice system should be partially privatized or even fully privatized. Why the fuck? No privatization of justice system at all. People are overly worrying about physical human modifications nowadays. I agree. Modify the humans. Give us tentacles. Right? Also, I am extremely pro modifying humans. I'm trans. That's a big part of, like, modify all the humans. Give everyone the genitals they want. Or, I think modifying humans is good. Personal decisions and stuff, but also I don't like gatekeeping. So yeah, I think people worry about it way too much. I think they are overly worrying. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Hard disagree. That's violence. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth leaves the whole world blind and only able to eat baby food. Punishment should be valued more than that of rehabilitation. No. Remember, I believe everyone can change and people deserve second chances. That means that I'm very much in the camp of rehabilitation. Now, if they can't be rehabilitated, that doesn't mean that you punish them more severely, like, the punishment is taking away their freedom or whatever, but, like, you don't add on to that. That's my take. I don't like a lot of the prison system. A rehabilitative system is unjust. False. Remember, I really like the rehabilitative idea. I don't like the punitive idea. Disagree. My political views are very different from the current status quo. I feel like they are, so I'm gonna agree. I don't know what my political views are, but I feel like they're different, so I agree. I support the LGBT community. I hope so. I'm part of it. I am at least 2 of the letters in here. Inheritance is a legitimate form of wealth. I disagree. I don't have a reasoning for this. I just disagree. I read that and I think, no, it's not. And I feel strongly about it. That's one of those ones where I can say, I feel strongly about this, but I don't know why. A global nation where all countries are united will be beneficial to humanity. Yes. Agree, strongly. Again, one of those ones I feel super strong about, but I don't know, like, I don't have a word for why. If we accept migrants into our borders, the migrants should be expected to assimilate into our culture. I disagree. I am very pro freedom of movement. Anti-border, I'm sorry. If I say anti, all I can think of is, like, family. And if I say family, all I can think of is Fast and the Furious. Family. I can't do a very good Vin Diesel impression, but you get the idea. Nearly all politicians are evil and problematic no matter what their political ideals are. I have to disagree. I mean, not specific to politicians, most people are going to be problematic in some way. Evil, probably not. And I also don't believe that there's anything that changes when you become a politician to make you evil and problematic that didn't exist before. I could run for whatever politician appointment. Would I consider myself evil and problematic just if I won? No. So I'm gonna say no. Society was better many years ago than it is today. I very much disagree. Many years ago, I probably wouldn't be able to be myself. So, hell, many years ago, I wasn't myself, so I disagree. Private organizations and corporations cannot be trusted and thus need regulating by the government. There's what I can hard agree on. I don't trust them. I don't trust them at all. It's not one I can say that I have like a firm grasp of why or anything like that. It's just one of those ones where I can say, yes, I agree. Usage of genetic modification for animals and plants should be minimized. Why? No, I disagree. If I'm gonna lean into like modifying human genetics, why would I leave out other species? Politics is very important for society and shouldn't be ignored. I think I agree. Especially as I said earlier. So for myself, being trans shouldn't be a political issue, but for a lot of people, it is. Or being straight, or not straight, shouldn't be, but it is. And if you just ignore that, like, because you're part of the majority, I don't think that's good. Like, you should be able to be like, oh shit, this is fucked up, you know? That's how I'm gonna agree. The risks of transhumanism outweighs the benefits. No, I disagree. The benefits could be infinite. The risks could be... What? The risks could be humans die? There are no more humans. I don't think that, like, having humans for the sake of humans is, like... I don't care. I don't think that we're here for any special reason or anything. If we all died, that'd be fine. You know, like, that's my take. Humans don't have to exist in the universe. I don't know. So I'm gonna say that the risks don't outweigh the benefits. It's a waste of time trying to rehabilitate some criminals. Again, I disagree. I am very much on the rehabilitation side. Without state intervention, monopolies would violate human rights. Hard agree. That's corporations for you. I consider abortion as a form of murder. Hard disagree. It's not even murder. They're not, I don't consider feti people. So, like, murder means a human kills another human unlawfully. Like, if you go to war and you shoot somebody, that's not murder, but you're still killing somebody, right? Like, I can agree that abortion is killing a clump of cells, but only because right now we don't have a way to make that clump of cells viable outside of the womb. If they could take that and make it a human, and we didn't have a lack of resources, like, for that human to grow and all that kind of stuff, I think abortion would be a non-issue, wouldn't it? Or would then there be people being like, we have to have human women incubators. We can't be taking these clumps of cells out of human women and like, or not even women because it's non-binary. And trans men. Duh. Oh my god. Human incubators instead of non-human ones, right? Like, I feel like they'll just push the goalposts until it essentially is, we need to have humans be subservient to whatever's growing inside of them. I don't know. I think it's not. Genetic modification of food can avoid effects from droughts and floods. That's not even like, that's provably true. I agree. Military spending is a waste of money. Allie was part of the army. I do agree, though. A lot of it is. It's basically, in my opinion, the military is a big jobs program in America. It doesn't have to be. A lot of stuff comes out of the military that eventually becomes consumer things, i.e. the internet, etc. But like, do we need to have it? Do we need to be fueling war things? That goes against my pacifistic tendencies. Politics is boring to me. Honestly, it is. I think it is, but I think it's just the way that it's presented. The way that it's presented to me now, it is boring. In much the same way that mathematics is taught is boring. But if you reframe it a bit, it doesn't have to be, I don't think. Or it might not be, you know? Like when I was learning calculus, I was like, this is the weirdest and most boring shit. Pre-calc, right? But like once somebody who was like a math major told me how the calculus was used and what it was used for, I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. But like they never taught me that in class. You know what I mean? So currently, this is accurate. I agree. However, if you reframed it, or if I had a different grasp of it and framed it differently, I think it would not, like, then it would be different. If a person has nothing to hide, that person has nothing to fear. False. I might not have anything to hide, but I'm still afraid of spiders and bears. And spiders on bears. I was gonna say bears on spiders, but like, I mean, come on. It's more obvious that spiders would be riding bears into battle than the other way around. Okay, so... yeah, I have to hard disagree with that. Just, I want privacy no matter what. Like, maybe not no matter what, but like, you don't have to have anything to hide to want privacy. Just because they're not going to do something with that information currently doesn't mean that they won't in the future. And it's none of their business. Borders around the world should be less strict. Hey, we just talked about that. Yes, they should be. No borders. Get rid of them all. They don't even sell anything worthwhile. Borders is a store, right? Not anymore? Good, we got rid of borders. The market regulates itself. Unjust monopolies will not survive in a free market. Not even close to true. Hard disagree. If you had a monopoly, why wouldn't you just, I don't know. There's a whole host of things I could think of. Oh, you just happen to keep buying out all the competitors. Or you just make an agreement with your competitor so that, you know, you sell internet in this city and they sell internet in that city and neither of you goes on the other's territory. I don't know. I don't think the market regulates itself. The harder you work, the more you progress up the social ladder. Disagree. I think I strongly disagree. There are plenty of people who work hard. Yeah, there's plenty of people who are working extremely hard for Amazon and are not progressing to be the CEO of Amazon. Well, I don't believe that the harder you work even implies the more money you'll earn. Which is how I'm reading this. Plenty of people are at the bottom of our social ladder who work plenty hard. I support capital punishment. Hard disagree, remember? You can't really get a second chance if you're dead. Can't reform the dead unless we figure out necromancy. Democratic socialism. Interesting. I have a secret. I actually took this test while I was at work the other day, Um, I didn't, well, one, I was at work. I took the same exact test. I rushed through it though. I was just like answer, 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 and I didn't like do tons of reasoning with it. And I figured this would be a good one to talk about like on stream and reason through my answers. So here we go. We got the current test. Here's how I landed on all the things. Apparently I am a democratic socialism, whatever that is. Some things that obviously did not change between these two tests. So here's where I landed, like, generally here, blah, blah, blah. Definitely for transhumanism. Some of these I'm not entirely sure what they do or mean or whatever, but whatever. So here's what they are today. Here's what they were the last time I just kind of answered without thinking too much, right? Not a huge change, except for this one here. This authoritarian, libertarian, democracy, autocracy. Apparently, I am much more towards libertarian democracy than I am libertarian autocracy at the moment. So I guess just my reading of things is like different now. You know what I mean? Like for whatever these answers were, I must have been reading them slightly different that day, right? Like, so let's look at the axes. This is the one where I was like, oh, okay, cool. I believe this means socialism more than capitalism. And much more today. Maybe not much more, but a little bit more today. Planned versus free economy, I assume. A little bit even. Pretty close to the same. Yeah. Not a huge change on most of these. Down here, there was a little change in each. This one you'll see. 100% rehabilitative. Punitive is not my jam. I do not think punitive is like good. And there's a heat map apparently. Pretty much here. Not that most of these are meaningless to me. Most of these are meaningless to me. I vaguely understand some of the words, but yeah, apparently my wherever I land, it's pretty consistent. Yeah, I'm very much punishment, rehabilitation. I don't believe in like punishing people for no reason. Like, I am a firm believer that people can change and all that. Like, you want to sentence almost everybody to community service, especially picking up litter. The problem with that, if you... Alright, so I'll just leave this up and we can talk about it. The problem with sentencing everyone to something like that, right? I got democratic socialism. Where does that land? Classic Marxism. Where the frick is that? I don't even see it on here. I'm blind. More socialist. Oh, classical Marxism is right down here. So a little bit more toward, I'm assuming this is more toward freer, less government, etc. So if you were like, well, I don't know. I don't even know which answers that would have changed on mine, right? Somewhere in here. It probably would have been down here. But centrism. No, so the problem is, if you put everyone into community service, one, you have to... There's a few things. I actually just read an argument against this the other day. So I'm kind of trying to remember some of those arguments that it was. One, you need to have somebody who... You can't give them a high-level thing to do, right? You can't give them something that needs 8 hours of training, right? You need to just have people who can come in and do the thing. Picking up litter, most anyone can do it, right? You don't need training, like pick up this trash, put it in the bag. Good. But you need people who can supervise that. The logistics of that, okay, say that you... Now this might not be how you mean it, but this is in the argument against it was specifically, instead of fines, everyone should have community service, because then the rich people wouldn't be able to just pay off and be like not have to pay attention to laws, which might work fine. But what if, like, all right, your fine is $100,000, you just do community service forever? You know what I mean? Like, how many hours of picking up litter is that? Does that make sense? Like, there is no forever. Whereas you could take that $100,000 and enact change across a vast majority of things, right? That was specific to that argument, but it made sense. Like, there are some amounts of money that, like, I don't know, you would never be able to community service off. People just shouldn't litter, right? Also, time. Like, if I have 2 jobs that I need to work for, and then I have to do community service, that's gonna fuck with me way more than the person who's already rich and can just take off of, do whatever they want and just do community service. They could have done it with money and paid off the fine, but they have the free time to do that community service, even if it's 8 hours of it, right? Those were the bigger arguments. There was a couple more of, like, you need to train them, you need to watch them, you have to, like, have the logistics of it all. We already have all that, like, but most of the community service is not for... I had to do community service to, like, graduate high school. It wasn't like I was... Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of things that, like, I don't have super hard positions on, because they're not, like, I don't think they're all easy issues. And even the ones I have hard, like, positions on might be short-sighted. You know what I mean?